Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. Today we have the next sneak peek day, which means we have the next super troop for you guys. Today it's gonna be the Super Goblin, and all of you guys are thinking, well, Super Goblin, that's freaking boring. Well, I think it's one of the most competitive troops which are coming out, to be honest. But let's see, and I will show you everything over this entire video and how to use that, how to get that into your own gameplay and your own armies. But for now, what we should do first, I think, like yesterday, we should take a look first at the statistics of the Old Goblins, and then we can compare it better to the new ones. That's kind of the simple trick, and as soon as we did that, we can come up with like nice ideas on how to use the Goblin in future armies basically, and kind of like do a prediction on where the Goblin is finally going. But for now, this is the Old Goblin. The Old Goblin had like a pretty decent DPS, like 62 per second, and then obviously a health of 126. So overall, it's a Goblin. That's it. We all know the Goblin, so we know how it works. And one more important thing is the housing space. We noticed that yesterday that the housing space sometimes increases in the super troops, so we have to keep in mind that this Goblin is a housing space of 1. So those are the most important things about Goblins. Oh, one more thing, yeah, the multiplier against any resource buildings, because those Goblins are sneaky things and always going around and going for gold. By the way, why do they have a multiplier for elixir? Either way, that's a different story, but for now, let's get into the overview of the Sneaky Goblin, or like the Super Goblin. So, what exactly is the new Sneaky Goblin doing? So the new Sneaky Goblin is basically like a combination of a Goblin and a Sneaky Archer of the builder base. If you guys might think, or like this meme is going around, where it's like, if you copy my homework and everything around and whatever, and it's basically saying that everything is getting copied from the builder base to the home village. It's a little bit, but at the same time it's different. So this one has 5 seconds on the cloak timing, and this makes it kind of unique because this was never there, at least in the home village. So we have nice possibilities of trying to find something which is working around the sneaky guy, and this might even work in competitive play and in like important matches and whatever, and not only for farming, because if we talk about the usage of this small guy, it's obviously, like, farming is one of the most obvious things. But for now, the statistics. We wanted to compare those, and we can see the damage is going up, 190, and then 320 is the new HP. Which means overall, it's pretty decent. But the most important thing, once again, is that the housing space is going up as well, from 1 to 3. So you guys might think, okay, looks kind of decent. I mean, if I want to farm and spam the goblins around the village and get all of the collectors, that's nice. That's pretty good farming, right? So it's true. this guy is a monster in farming. But one thing which is way more important actually is the cloak timing. And this is something which you always have to keep in mind when using this guys and when trying to come up with something which might be pretty useful. But we'll come to that in a second, because we want to talk about how exactly can you guys use him? Like I said, farming is a pretty obvious one, and another thing is obviously funneling. Basically the same idea as the Barbarian yesterday, where you can put him just on the outside and like funnel for the Queen Walk, funnel for the P.E.K.K.A, Yeti Smash entry, whatever. That's obviously another thing which is possible with the Goblin as well. So that's always something to keep in mind. But obviously there are more possibilities of using him, but first, we can just take a look at trying him out and see what exactly he will do in a battlefield and, well, how much damage is he dealing, etc. That's, I think, a good idea before getting deeper into what might work, whatever, and I will show you guys a couple of sneaky things with the Sneaky Goblin and how you guys can use him on your own. But for now, let's test him out. Let's use the blue button and try the Sneaky Goblin our own. By the way, guys, how do you feel like how he looks? I think he looks kind of cool, to be honest. Looks a bit beefy. Obviously, he looks kind of similar to, I think it's the Goblin Cage from Clash Royale. But either way, let's get started with the first couple of attacks. And the first one is going to be in the playground. Once again, the same village as yesterday. Actually, I don't know if it's a bug, but I don't know why exactly the goblins are non-maxed. I guess because it's a town 12, but I'm on a town of I don't know. Either way, those are small things which can obviously still change, and this is always a disclaimer which I have to say. all of the stats might change, like the HP number, etc. But yeah, I mean that's kind of obvious one. So we saw he's taking out easily one of the collectors, and the storages, well, we need sometimes 2 for those if you want to take care of those. But remember, it's only 3 housing space, which means it's not too bad. What we should do for now, let's clear all of the buildings around and let's get some percentage, and then let's try to go for the important stuff, which is going to be the town hall, because you guys see they're targeting the storages, and if you guys are following that thought process, it's the town hall who is the storage as well. So this means the town hall is one of the only the only building basically who has the identity of multiple defenses or buildings. It's not only storage, but it's a defense as well. And for everyone who is only targeting defenses like Yeti Mites or only targeting storages like goblins, it's kind of cool. Let's just check this out. It's crazy. Spam in a couple of goblins and take the freaking town hall out. This gives a lot of freedom to a lot of different strategies, because, well, sometimes if the base defender or like the base build isn't really paying attention, you can just freaking snipe the town hall with that. That's pretty easy. But there's one more thing which makes the goblins actually ridiculous strong, because this was with the jump spell and spamming goblins in. But there's a possibility of doing that without a jump and just with a couple of goblins, and that's in the clan castle. I told you guys yesterday already that the super troops can be donated in the clan castle as well. And I want to show you guys 2 things. First off, I'm obviously always saying that the Yeti Blimp is OP. This thing might be even stronger than the Yeti Blimp. But at the same time, I will show you guys exactly why I like this comparing to the Yeti Blimp. So let's take a look at the first thing. We're choosing obviously the Blimp, and then we're trying to bring this bad boy over to the town hall. And then you will see the magic and what exactly is happening. So first off, I think we should just freeze the sweeper so we have no trouble overall. Just freeze the sweeper and then get in the Blimp. See how everything is coming out. You see the lava hound coming out, and somehow the health of the town hall is disappearing. It's magic. Not really, it's just those sneaky goblins. So this is kind of a new thing which is coming up, and I think it's gonna be crazy. I think it's gonna be bringing back Lalo. It won't be as powerful obviously as on Town Hall 12 or like below, but I still think it will bring it back on the same level as, for example, Queen Charge Hybrid. And I think, like, in my opinion, Yeti Smash is a step higher than Hybrid, and this is why it's only on the same spot as Hybrid, for example, in my opinion, because Hybrid got pretty hard nerfed with like the bomb towers and mortars, etc. But let's try one more thing, because you can see it feels stronger. It feels way stronger than the Yeti Blimp, because you only need 15 housing space in the Blimp to take this out. But see this. Take a look at this. If there's a giant bomb, this will kill the goblins and this will leave the town hall alive, which will give you a lot of trouble in your attack. So this is what I mean by saying I like the new Goblin Blimp, because there's counterplay. On the freaking overpowered Yeti Blimp, there is no stupid counterplay in this game. I'm sorry for going ham on this one, but I freaking hate the Yeti Blimp and I'm abusing it on my own because it's so broken. There is no counterplay. Like, what should a base builder do? The Yeti Blimp can come from every single angle. It can be put in the beginning of the attack, in the middle of the attack, at the end of the attack. There's always the possibility of putting in the Yeti Blimp. But this guy, or this Blimp, obviously you can send it in. But as soon as there's a double gap in between of the town hall and something else, there could be a giant bomb, which gives you a huge mind game potential. And this makes this Blimp, in my opinion, balanced, because there's always the possibility of counter it. If there's an angle which you do not like for the Blimp to come, just put a giant bomb over there and the goblins are dead. Like, that's how easy it is. So I think that the Goblin Blimp is something really cool, and I'm super hyped for that coming out. I think it will be bringing back Lalo a little bit. I mean, most of the clans are using Lalo already, so it's more like it's buffing Lalo again a little bit and making it more reliable, because this means those scatter shots, which are so devastating for Lalo, you can just use the vulnerability on that, right? Because you're taking out the town hall with your Blimp, which means you do not need the vulnerability for that, which in the end means that, well, you just don't need the vulnerability for the town hall, which means you can use it for the scatter shots. As easy as that, right? So what we should do is let's try an entire attack on one of the bases. We will take the first base because, like I said, the second base, it has like giant bombs around the town hall, which means this strategy is just not possible over there. So let's do it on this base, and obviously bases like this are not good anyway, but especially if you have areas around the town hall where it's touching the walls, where it's having like buildings right next to it, those are getting really wrecked by this strategy. Like, it's crazy because there's no possibility of being a giant bomb over there, right? So that's how it is. So let's try to improvise over there because I didn't really plan this, so it's kind of YOLO. But let's see. So we're just doing a Queen Hawk over here, doing some random stuff, and then we want to get with the Lado into the town hall, right? I could have like put the sweeper somewhere else, but it's just for like demonstrating how strong it is in the combination with Lado. And obviously I have to say my Lado isn't the best. That's how it is. My Lado is decent, but it's by far not one of the best. So let's try to somehow make this work. As always, I'm using my rage on time. Nicely planned over there, Kappa. And well, meanwhile, we're just sending a couple of more warbreakers, I guess, looking where it's going, and then just chilling. Meanwhile, there's the nice ice golems coming out, and then we can finally start with the Lalo into the town hall. So as soon as the clan castle is going down, we're just taking a look where the queen is heading, most likely to the bottom, but which is good because she will take out the enemy royal champ, which is always one of the targets going into the attacks. And that's another thing with doing the goblin hound blimp. I don't know, like obviously there are some cool guys coming up with the name at some point, but with this blimp, you do not have anything. For example, if a royal champion is on the back end, you do not have anything to take that out, which means either you need to bring a skeleton spell, or you have to take out the enemy queen and the royal champ at the same, or like both of them with this charge. That's kind of how it works. Or what you can do is you can use the royal champ on your own, like your own royal champ, to take that out. That's possible as well. And just take a look at this freaking thing. Like, we do not need the warden ability for now. We can send in another hound, trying to like get everything in, everything getting started, and then just push in, like push everything into the core. Warden ability for the red mines and for the tornado damage and everything. And we still have the freaking royal champ for the backend. That's something which I enjoy a lot, being one of the like pushing always with hybrid, etc. It's getting freaking boring. Like it's always the same kind of. And I feel like on the Queen Charge Lalo, you have so much more impact. You have so much more impact. That's why I like it so much, that this strategy is slowly coming back. So I'm super hyped. I think it's a super cool thing. And it's gonna be so enjoyable to see millions and millions of players trying the new troops. I would say they're not like similar troops or whatever. They're kind of like new troops, right? They have new identities. So I think it's gonna be super cool to see how all of you guys will try those new things out, would get your own ideas on things and see how they can work. Like, this goblin thing got discovered by a couple of guys. So just imagine a couple of million people are trying new stuff. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be crazy. I'm super excited. And well, let me guys know what you think of this sneaky goblin. I always want to say super goblins, but it's sneaky goblins. Let me guys know what you think of him in the comments. And well, let me know what if you guys think is right. Like, do you guys think this CC is cool, or do you guys think this CC or like this blimp strategy is broken? Let me guys know, and we can discuss a little bit in the comments. And I hope I see you guys back tomorrow for another video, and see you guys then. Until then, and bye bye.